to coast with the left-handed lane.
Oh, what a terrific job of attacking.
And Stanley!
3 offensive rebounds per game. Taking that offensive rebounding capability off the floor limits North Carolina's offensive output.
Stanley with Andrew Platek on him. And Stanley knocks down.
Job by Garrison Brooks of rolling to the basket. Jordan Holwire went to try to block or bother that shot. He's probably better off trying to take a charge there.
They're going to Stanley again, and it pays to become a factor for Duke here late in the season.
Allison Williams, after the NC State game on Big Monday, asked him, have you ever been in the post-game interview? And he said, nope. First time. He may be in another one.
And Krzyzewski called him a late bloomer, as Holly reported in the first half, said he's as good a threat to his teammates as times this year, but he just got rid of him. Carolina has never led. The game's been tied on a couple of occasions.
Got to go back to Vernon Carey.
Stanley for 3.
4 minutes to go in regulation. A 10-point lead and the ball to increase this lead. That's a poor offensive possession for North Carolina.
Robinson with 13 points, 5 rebounds, 3 blocks tonight.
Straight line drive all the way to the basket. That is not the kind of defense that Mike Krzyzewski wants to see from his team. And containing the dribble in this ball game is going to be very important for Duke's defense, but it's equally important, if not more so, for North Carolina State to continue to spread the court and drive the ball. Make Duke into individual defenders.
Stat panel for Markel Johnson, 6.5 assists per game, #1 in the conference. Trey Jones, Duke's second at 6.3. And
Michigan State Spartans, the team of the week, the player of the week. No co here. It's Marcus Howard of Marquette. 2 games. He had 67 points in those 2. And this week we have a play-by-play person of the week, and I'm going with Dan Shulman. I made a call, and I'm not, well, maybe I should go with Co. I'll go with Co this week, and the Co play-by-play person is Sean McDonough of Syracuse University, the Harvard of Central New York.
I'm deeply honored.
Congratulations.
Spurt one out.
Luca Garza of Iowa, and then Miles Powell of Seton Hall. To me, it's those 3 guys. And I favor Obi Toppin.
Yes, I would agree with that.
But I wouldn't argue with anyone who felt otherwise. This zone has gotten NC State to stand around.
Thunderberg from the free throw line. Plucked out of the air by Goldwire. Junior from North Cross, Georgia. And at the rim, Cassius.
Many big men around the country have played better this season than Garrison Brooks has played.
Boy, Thunderberg. Kevin Keats thought he was fouled. Took him a while to get back up. Stanley back up.
And make a shot.
He has 9 points. It's right on his average.
Both he and C.J. Bryce, I think, operate best in that spot.
Stanley. Little screen from Robinson. Stanley fouled. Acrobatic.
Beautiful drive.
Bryce.
C.J. Bryce.
Is Olivier. What do you know about him? Because Coach K was raving about him during the visit.
He's a big guy for Wake Forest, and he's very, very skilled. You know, long-armed, athletic, and really like Danny Manning does such a great job coaching big guys, and Sarr continues to get better and better. And you know, he's an excellent basketball player that's playing his very best right now.
Wake Forest could be dangerous. They're playing better lately.
Touches. Screens for Walter Tensai instead. That won't go. Struggling shooting the ball.
They hit ahead. Cassius Stanley doesn't miss this.
For the key, a great start for him. 6'8" sophomore, pretty good shooting touch as he launches the 3. And he's a guy, Obi had 18 points in their ACC opener. As Cassius continues, because they had lost that similar game to the Louisville Cardinals earlier in the year.
All right.
And that showed Coach K that his team has grown up a bit. And right now they're trying to grow up here on the fly once again on the road and be able to rebound from what hasn't been a great first half as Cassius Stanley opportunity to try to get some looks. Danny Manning knows how important it is to be able to get him going. Stanley looking for the quick strike and one as well as he got it up there. Jones had carried 2-man game. He can't butt.
That's going to be laid in by Stanley. With a nifty drive, the graduate out of Chicago. He has 4. 12.5 to play. 56-48 Duke. Duke saw FSU win an impressive game against Louisville last night. Shot clock to 10. Stanley lets fly, and he'll hit a 2-pointer. The Duke Blue Devils off to a nice start. They have taken an 8-2 lead. Vernon Carey coming off 27 against NC State. Trey Jones has emerged as perhaps the favorite for ACC Player of the Year. And the junior guard getting 16.6 assists per game. They're reigning through.
So they competed in that game, and that's probably most concerning to Coach K, but we have not seen any of that problem here tonight.
And he said it flat out. He said we were not competitive against NC State. Another one from Long. Nolly stripped from behind. They may give that block to Delorier. He got up there. O'Connell on the wing. Stanley, yes!
Of the season, especially in ACC play, and you go back to the game against Miami, 4 for 21 from the field, 1 for 8 from
behind Anthony Edwards nationally and up by much, and then Landers Nolly at 17 points a game. But he's gone cold in recent outings.
And Cole Anthony, who's only played 16 games, as Cassius Stanley.
The left hand, no. Beatty will kick it back out. The freshman will misfire there. Carey with the rebound.
And not getting back defensively. Oh, wait a minute. Wait.
3-pointer, freshman out of Orlando, who originally committed to play for Coach Young at Wofford, but he signed with the Hokies when Young took the job in Blacksburg. Stanley, time to line up a 3. Yes.
He says all 10 won't play great. He just needs the right group eventually to play well.
Carey got back, played some tough D with the rejection. Stanley with the scoop and one. He'll be headed to the line. He fires another one off the front of the iron. That triggers the break for Stanley. Very quickly, and a foul too.
5 and 5. There have been 5 players on the North Carolina side who've done it. Most recently, Michael Jordan back in 1983. We talked about flipping the switch. How about the number on the bottom, Jay? 18 points. The final minute of regulation, the 5 minutes of overtime. By himself, he outscored North Carolina by 2. There's a 3 for Cassius Stanley.
And that's the next step for him as a player, is to become a more alert defender off the ball. He is such a good talent and such a good offensive player. If he comes along as a defender, he'll be complete.
Patrick Williams, the miss for Florida State. Matthew Hurd on the floor, number 21 for Duke, freshman from Rochester, Minnesota. His playing time's diminished a bit lately. Joey Baker. Now Stanley. Down to 8 to shoot. They double Carey again. He finds Stanley for the lay-in.
Right drive of Trey Jones on the right side.
Carey the miss, but Stanley there.
Top 3-point shooter, and what a stud he was against NC State. Kept getting injured, kept coming back. And Armando Bacot got away with a little push in the back there. Fortunate that wasn't called.
Duke off to a slow start offensively. Hurt with a nice look to Stanley, who buries a corner 3.
Little on big screens. Those are cross screens, so it puts you in a position to have to switch. And you get a little guy and the big guy and the little guy. Causes a lot of problems for the defense.
I'll tell you what's causing problems right now for Carolina. They're missing free throws. They're just 4 of 10 from the line, but they've still got an 8-point lead.
Really good defensive effort by North Carolina. And that's what this team is going to have to do. Get grittier on the defensive end.
Crowd loving the effort. Stanley hangs and hits. Looking inside for Brooks.
Good pass. The Turner just take it away.
Yeah.
What a steal by Stanley.
Stanley driving on Anthony, lays it in, and Duke is back with it.
Get in a wrestling match down low with Carey, because Carey can lock him down. What he needs to do is move his feet, break contact, try to get around in front, and discourage passes from coming in there.
Remember, Bacot's got 2. Brooks has 2. Leaky Black has 2 for Carolina. Stanley, good defense by Playcheck, and Stanley just elevates over the top.
Stanley's range player. but because he had his feet set and had plenty of time to knock it down.
How about Carey trying a three? Moore keeps it alive for Duke. Stanley, yes. And the last whistle. Duke ball. Stop and start. Stanley, 5-point game.
And Jack White with the steal as Heath got himself in trouble. Now White and Cassius Stanley.
You go to the monitor, you can make things up. Slow motion does wonders to fouls.
Stanley gets it and one. Cassius.
Guys like Delorier and White, who are 4-year seniors.
But the problem comes, Doug, when against the zone, their main point of emphasis was to get the basketball inside. Because this is not a great three-point shooting Duke team, and they don't want to settle for threes. They want to be able to attack the paint. But Cassius Stanley does the exact thing that Coach K wants in Dolezaj.
And also Barama Sidibe has 2, and that's it.
And Dolezaj now with 12 points has been great on the interior in this game and with his passing as Cassius Stanley steps up and announces his return. College players to play with the level of emotion that you want to see from them. You can't take away everything they do. Well, Cassius Stanley, he should be playing in tomorrow's Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
After that play, he'd have a wide open teammate.
Hurt has had a quiet night. Stanley above the rim again.
Nothing quiet about play by Hughes. You don't need a three. Go to the basket, continue to put the pressure on Duke, and see if you can get Carey to pick up another foul.
Goldwire ahead to Stanley. He attacks the rim, and looking down at it, lays it in.
There was contact on that three. Doesn't matter. Joe Girard able to knock it down.
Don't look now, but it's back to a 2-possession game, and then it's not. Another driving.
Johnson, all share it in the backcourt, and Johnson has it poked away by White. Jones feeds ahead, and it's an easy jam for Stanley. Sometimes they hope a teacher says it instead. It's not just me. Look at these guys who are Hall of Famers in Springfield who are doing these things that you can do.
And you know who Coach Nate James showed him when you talk about those greats? Showed him Kobe Bryant and said the Mamba mentality. That killer when you're on the court.
What separates good from great? Deep squad. 10 players averaging 13 minutes a game, even in the absence of Moore, who Coach K said hopes to be back within a week. Cast off just a small splint on the fingers that were surgically repaired earlier this month on his right hand. Stanley navigates a trio of defenders here inside Cameron Indoor. Mike Cousins, Jordan Cornette, glad to have you with us as Duke has continued to stretch its lead. Gravity-defying finishes. A lot of those players to go to the line. Koulibaly now just 2 for 10 shooting free throws.
Trey Jones has not given the ball away one time tonight. 0 turnovers.
He's on pace for the best assist-to-turnover ratio in Duke history. Nearly at the expiration of the shot clock. Cassius
Been a little bit prone to foul trouble as DJ Vasiljevic hits the shot along the baseline.
Playing a little foul trouble against Louisville, and he was not in the last 4 games. 3 of them has not been the way he's played earlier in the year. In fact, Mike told us before the game he's been better than what they even expected here. He's the candidate for Player of the Year in the conference.
He's taking a break now as Javin Delorier is checked in, one of the captains for the Blue Devils.
They're a deeper Blue Devil team than have been in the past.
Here's Cassius Stanley, his first shot of the night other than him.
They got 3 out of 6 players to play in the front court.
I mean, Manny Diaz, he's got a couple of guys as grad transfers, and he's hoping that De'Aaron can give a little spark to that. No game this weekend for the Blue Devils. They'll play again until next Tuesday. And so what does Mike Krzyzewski deal with his young team? He's talked a lot to us as Cassius Stanley
turns it over. Jones has help. Baker for 3. Stanley the rebound. Well, how about that he's now shooting at a better rate this year, and he's still doing all the other Jack White things that he brings to the table.
The last couple games, Jack White's averaging 10 points and 5.5 rebounds, and he's hit 4 of his last 6 from 3 coming into this game.
Jones can't get it to Carey. Now Stanley for three.
Wow. That's a heck of a shot by Cassius Stanley. He hasn't been playing as much of late because of defense, but his defense is starting to improve.
Baseline drive, Stanley. And scores over Malik Williams.
Went right into his check. In transition by Trey Jones.
War, as you mentioned, only 2 points in the first half, but yet Louisville still leads. And by the way, that foul on Vernon Carey Jr., just want to keep an eye on. That's number 3 on him. Stanley elevating again.
In the post to get around to the other side of the bucket to avoid the shot block.
You want to see them go inside as much as they can because Carey's got 3.
Yeah, I mean, they just get the ball in the paint, but they also need to stop. With defense on the ball on Johnson, trying to get him to turn his back.
Another turnover. Jones ahead to Stanley.
You can count on one hand in the second half that they've gotten the shot they want. Another tough one.
Yeah, very tough 3 there for Warren, and it's Stanley again.
Well, Louisville needs a time.
Curran Scott with the ball. He's come in off the bench, a grad transfer from Tulsa, and he gets rejected. Duke also among the leaders in the nation in block shots. Cassius Stanley all the way to the bucket. They're playing well.
That's the second time Amir Sims has set a great screen. Either created for himself or for his teammate. With your best players, your best screener, good things are going to happen.
Stanley looking to get going. Goldwire and Jones both in the backcourt, and Stanley will get going.
It's going to be 1-on-1. Vernon Carey's got to defend all the way to the three-point line and in the post. That's a lot of work.
O'Connell the kick. Stanley the 3. Yes. I would imagine, John, that ball's going inside to Vernon Carey at every opportunity like it did on that first possession.
And it is, and what you're going to see is he's not going to chase the basketball. That was a skip pass feed inside. He maintained his position. When he chases the basketball, he actually collapses driving lanes for his teammates. Prepare for those out of bounds underneath, and they still set such good screens, and you get a guy open.
Mack averaging 11.5, has 18 already in this game. Stanley playing with 4 fouls. Drowns it.
To make it 15-9, his first 3 points of the game.
You're looking for an advantage for the Demon Deacons. That's the matchup. Saul can make Carey dance uncomfortably defensively on the perimeter.
Stanley trying to answer, and he does. Way down. Jack White, the senior from Australia. Stanley trying to wriggle inside. Man, did he stick with it. That. 33-16. They coming in at 8-6, 1-3 in the conference, Duke 14-1, 4-0 in the ACC, and they continue. And that's while playing the likes of Kansas and Michigan State. Another turnover here. Here's Stanley, airborne, yes! With the
Zion, it's this power of Zion, sure, but the fluid athlete, it's like watching a gazelle take flight when Stanley takes it.
Stanley has lost 7 points for Duke, so he keeps on playing at a very high level. More ways than one. He'll slice in, give him another basket.
His second year with the program after transferring from Texas in a high-flying egg.
Stepped it up here.
Air ball there for Usher. And here comes Duke. 2-point lead for the Blue Devils. Number 2 team in the nation. Winners of 7 straight since their only loss to Stephen F. Austin. Cassius Stanley just makes it so. Look, first game of the season, you saw them.
Absolutely.
They certainly changed as Alvarado misses that shot, and here comes Cassius Stanley. Who's your pick? Who's your pick? Going to company line here?
Yeah, you got to stay with the offense. And
Wright comes in for the offensive rebound.
Just because you get the offensive rebound doesn't mean you have to shoot the ball.
Stanley!
Oh! It's a great pass by Wright.
Duke winners of 7 straight. Could be another turnover. Saved here by Goldwire. Stanley.
67 more points from the free throw line than their opponents. Uh-oh.
White, Duke with the ball in a 1-point lead.
That's a heck of a rebound. Looks like Miller wanted to reach in there. It was a smart play not to.
Stanley off balance, and another foul, and the bucket will count. Miller the handoff to Vasiljevic. Step back 15-footer, tip no, Duke ball.
Rodney Miller's got to get that ball. He had Cassius Stanley there.
Stanley wide open, count it.
Well, that's just beautiful basketball.
To be great for a guy at 5'7" to do as well and be as good as he is at this level of basketball.
Well, when you're good enough, you're big enough. And he is more than good enough. He's an excellent basketball player. He's so much fun to watch. What a pass. Just beautiful.
And a chance for three, the finish there.
Great back cut.
What a feed. Miller couldn't handle the pass, though, from Likes. Got to it, lost it again. Stanley took it away. And it's gathered in by Goldwire.
You make a great back cut, and then Vernon Carey erases it with a terrific block shot. Against most teams, that would have the back cut would have carried the day. And Duke scores off. I can still, you still remember the roof of your mouth being raw after eating 2 bowls. You couldn't just have 1 bowl. Like Brent did too. Here in Florida.
Stanley got it back and finishes.
Up here, out there, with his pressure on the ball and the way he plays off the ball.
McGusty, good defense there by Hurt. Ball still loose and it belongs to the Blue Devils.
A nice job by Hurt.
Stanley with a flush at the other end.
At NBA range. A great shot fake and shoots it extraordinarily well off the dribble. He's not just catch and shoot. What a shot fake by Matthew Hurt. My goodness.
And a 3 from the...
And that's Felder, the freshman. And it got deflected off of Mitchell and recovered by the Blue Devils on another BC turnover. Stanley, oh, how about that? Quick step back before Jarius Hamilton was able to draw the charge. Look at Stanley go to work and score. Florida State had a lineup. If they needed to stop, they could go get a lineup that would get you a penalty kill.
You talk about the 10-year challenge. Take a look at Leonard Hamilton, Coach Leonard Hamilton, a picture of him in 2010.
On the drive. And the tap follow for Stanley is good.
He was named a captain. Off the bounce, Anderson. A little strong on the pull-up. Goldwire with numbers. Stanley elevates and lays it in. And Brown comes in with a 5-5 record in the Ivy League, picked 5th preseason. Stanley with the throwdown.
On the bench, though.
DeWolf finds himself alone, and he missed the layup. Here goes Stanley with the hammer. And so at the point for Duke, Jordan Goldwire making his 2nd start of the year. This one in place of Trey Jones. And this is now the 7th different lineup to start a game in the first 11 for Coach K. Good to see.
Again, offensively, Winthrop getting whatever they want, playing downhill.
Stanley, big step to the rack.
3 triples tonight, and yet this game is all knotted up. It's the penetration. It's the ability to blow past this Duke defense at ease.
You got to go back about 37 seasons to find the last time that Duke lost back-to-back non-conference home games. Neither team is led by more than 4 in this one. We've had 7 ties and 10 lead changes. With the shot clock winding down, Stanley hits.
2 turnovers now for the Blue Devils.
Harris probing, looking for room, throws it up on the rim, and it's cleared by Carey. Nice outlet to Jones. Results in a corner 3. Cassius Stanley.
Sloppy on offense for the Blue Devils.
Kevon Harris, not going to miss that in transition. He's off to a good offensive start with 4. Quickly the other way, we'll have a goaltender. Give the basket to Cassius Stanley.
Nice job defensively, making it difficult.
Wow! Cassius. Duke last lost to a non-conference team here at Cameron in 2000. That was St. John's. Stanley up and through. Trey Jones, his first career double-double. 15 points, 11 assists. 9:20 to play. Stanley, you betcha!
Easier said than done.
Yeah. Wow. Carey, no. Stanley, yes.
And if you can get him out of there, you don't have a great offensive team.
For year 7, by the way, his first 2 points of the night. Stanley buries a
way you can keep your hand on top of the ball if you go over 2 people. I don't think Patrick Ewing's wrong about that. Oops.
Oh, my goodness. Stanley. Look out, Javon Blair. He didn't even play in the game yesterday.
Nor in the first half. That was deep, Boo.
Georgetown trailing by 6. Duke with the ball. Moore. Stanley, that's a 3. Feed. White couldn't do it. Stanley, the putback in.
Now, it's not a sneak team because they're 10th in the country right now, right? But it's a team nobody really talking about.
White rips down the rebound. 11-point advantage for Duke, and they have the ball. Stanley, wide open 3. Got it. Freshman.
A little bit of a flop, but just pretty good push.
Duke by a couple. This has not been an offensive masterpiece so far. Stanley buries that one. A 3. Basketball, Trey Jones to inbound. And here's Stanley. Cassius Stanley.
Poked away. 2-on-1 for the Blue Devils. Up and down. Cassius Stanley
Of this year's team.
Well, and he can tell you for certain that all of his national championship teams, you know, the 2014, 2015 team where Tyus Jones was the leading guard on that team that won a national championship. You go back to 2010 where Nolan Smith and John Shire, his 2 assistant coaches.
Alex O'Connell rises. Stanley the step back and the foul. Out to Russ Pennell about him. They've asked about his strength, and they've tried to put a lot of strength on his bones. They count the calories, and he's just a guy who hasn't been able to keep as much on as they would like, but he is very skilled for a big man.
Well, wait till he gets to be 30. That won't be an issue.
Stanley with 2 at the cup.
Duke doing with a 3.
And it was early. He lost the handle. Look out, it's Stanley with a lay-in this time. Lost the handle on.
Don't have that many guys on the team that are reliable 3-point shooters, or at least they have proven themselves reliable 3-point shooters.
Yeah, in the first 2 games entering tonight, Duke just 12 of 46 from beyond the arc. Stanley stayed patient. Man, he has been efficient so far.
He's 21, shooting bad shots or forced shots.
Freshman out of Los Angeles. Off the turnover, Stanley on the scoop and the score. He just hovered in the air. On along the sideline. The man you saw, that's Nico Medved. He's the Colorado State head coach, his 2nd season. He told us today at shoot-around he has known Trey Jones since he was drinking out of sippy cups. That's 2 on the shot clock for Stanley, and it swirled out. Offensive rebound and the stick back.
Stevens, the freshman. Nico Medved saying he arrived this summer and he just took control. He's got great instincts for the game, going to be a good player in the Colorado State uniform.
Second 3-point make this half for the Rams. Hanging around within 4. Stanley took the contact. Got the bucket. White, who was terrific down the stretch the last 10 minutes of the win over the Jayhawks. Stanley spinning off glass.
Right there, there's that denial.
Stanley. Whoa! Cassius Stanley. Good and much needed points for Colorado State. The guy that Duke is waiting on, he saw 3rd on that list, Wendell Moore.
And we say, wait a minute, here in the second game of the season, there's plenty of time. Stanley off a feed from O'Connor. Stanley down the lane, drops it in.
All league players to come back.
Mike Krzyzewski has said he thinks because of that, you'll see more balance in the league. You don't have the veteran teams that you've had in recent years necessarily.
Stanley steps in with a long...
Now we see Azubuike sit down for the first time, and Kansas goes with a smaller lineup for the first time with DeSosa the 5. And 4 basically perimeter players out there along with them.
Wiseman, who can really play. But the best freshman in the country knows that's 3 turnovers in a row now. I think Kansas needs a timeout to talk about this a little bit.
The corner gets cut off by Jones.
Nice pass.
Agbaji from the corner.
That was the shot they wanted. They couldn't get something to what another pass.
Wow. Jones to Stanley again.
Like that.
Sosa came over to help Agbaji. Kansas comes up with it, and oh, what anticipation by Jack White at the other end.
Well, the pass was too late. And Jack White read it beautifully to take it away. That should have been a bucket for Kansas. Instead, it turns
and lays it in with a left hand.
Boy, what a beautiful drive and finish. Just bounces off of people and will not take his eyes off that rim. Just a beautiful left-handed layup.
Hurt little stutter step, kicks it out.
I think Hurt's got to touch the ball more.
Stanley driving by Agbaji, and he answers and will head to